We've got a double game week on our hands, which means there's plenty of points on offer. We're going to analyse the data to find out who the optimal captain is. Let's start by building the shortlist. First up is Mikel Antonio and his teammate Jarrod Bowen. They play against Palace away and Norwich at home. Lastly is the man returning from injury, it's Calvert-Lewin. He's got the home advantage against Brighton and Leicester. This week's honourable mention goes out to Tony from Brentford. He's also got a double fixture, but I don't think he's as trustworthy as the three players on the shortlist. Anyway, let's take a look at the non-penalty stats per 90 minutes. Calvert-Lewin has the best stats, but it's worth noting that they're based on a small sample size, so they're not much to go by. Still though, when he played at the start of the season, he was on fire. Bowen's quite far ahead of Antonio on the return points, and he's just 0.1 ahead on the expected numbers. To be fair, Antonio does have more promising underlying stats, but you've got to consider the fact that Bowen gets 5 points for a goal whilst Antonio gets 4, and that's been considered in this metric. I'd say that Bowen wins this section because his stats are more reliable overall. That's not to say that Calvert-Lewin doesn't hit the ground running again though. Moving swiftly on to the set pieces. Antonio does have a chance of taking penalties for West Ham. Lanzini's not nailed on them, but he's probably got the best chance. As for Bowen, he's very low in the pecking order. DCL will be on penalty duties if he's on the pitch. I know that because I'm an Evertonian myself and we don't have another dedicated penalty taker. Neither of the forwards take free kicks or corners. Bowen takes indirect free kicks and corners, but very rarely direct free kicks. If you took all three, I would make him the winner of this section, but I'd say it's Calvert-Lewin because of the value of penalties. Let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring or assisting. Remember, this is a double game week, so I've combined the figures from both of the matches. These odds are based on the assumption that each player plays 180 minutes. We'll review the expected minutes later on in the video. Calvert-Lewin's got the best chance of scoring with 61%. Antonio's behind by 3%, and Bowen's behind by 10%. However, the additional point for the goal does balance it out for Bowen. He also compensates for that on the anytime assist odds where he leads with 44%. Yet again, Antonio's behind by 3%, and this time Calvert-Lewin's behind by 18%. Despite him topping the anytime goal scorer odds, he's got the lowest chance of returning overall. Antonio's got the highest probability of returning with a 3 in 4 chance. It still helps that his odds are weighted heavily on goals as well. Another thing that he dominates is the points projections. He's got the highest figure overall with 10.7 at Fantasy Football Fix. He's also got the highest projection on Fantasy Football Scout with 9.2. Antonio's the undisputed winner of this section. Now let's compare the quality of the opposition's defence. With it being a double game week, I've averaged out the two opponents. I've also calculated the probability of either opposing team obtaining a clean sheet. West Ham players' opponents have conceded 0.3 goals per 90 minutes more than Calvert-Lewin's opponents. But Calvert-Lewin's opponents Brighton and Leicester have been expected to concede 0.2 goals more per 90 minutes than the West Ham opponents. It's still not enough to make up for the difference in the goals conceded per 90 minutes figures, which is displayed through the clean sheet odds. DCL's opponents are 18% more likely to obtain a clean sheet between either of them. To be fair, the other two players do have the easier fixture against Norwich at home. Despite Leicester being an easy opponent from an attacking perspective this season, Calvert-Lewin does have the most difficult opponents overall. Before we draw up a conclusion, let's carry out a quick risk assessment. It's evident that the Everton talisman is returning from injury. Now we can see why his points projections were so low. At this stage, it's safe to say that Calvert-Lewin's eliminated. The expected minutes metric indicates that Bowen is expected to miss 20 minutes of the 180 minutes. However, Antonio is only expected to miss 6. And that's one of the main reasons why I think Antonio is the best captain for double game week 21. Being honest, there's barely anything between him and Bowen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you found the video informative, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll see you here again for double game week 22.